An Iranian passenger plane went down on Sunday, killing all 66 people on board. The ATR-72 twin-engine turboprop plane was over 24 years old. It is still too early to determine what caused the tragic crash, and all aircraft are not inherently unsafe. But the loss of flight EP-3704 has once again drawn attention to Iran's aging fleet. Iran's aviation sector has been subjected to decades of Western sanctions. The United States and its allies refuse to sell Iran commercial planes or spare parts. Such sanctions are mainly to blame for Iran's failure to modernize its commercial fleet, which is one of the oldest in the world. Iranians have described the bans as inhumane because they have been blamed for some aviation tragedies in the past.
66 passengers and crew of the Osman airline perished in a plane crash that certainly wasn't an isolated incident due to aircraft within Iran aging deleteriously because of decades of economic sanctions placed against Iran, which prevents safer, newer planes, parts, and service from being provided for Iran's civilian population.
Western sanctions were eased following the 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council plus Germany. The United States, Russia, China, Britain, France, and Germany reassured Iran that it would get new commercial aircraft and spare parts under the deal. Iranian airlines have signed major contracts with aerospace giants Boeing and Airbus, among other companies, to buy scores of new planes, but it takes years for the companies to deliver the new airplanes. The multi-billion-dollar deals are now apparently facing a bumpy road to be completed as the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump intensifies its hostility towards Iran.
Decades of economic and fiscal sanctions against Iran result in direct harm to its population. So any Western leader claiming that they are for the Iranian people but merely against the Iranian government are now clearly proven wrong, with each tragic case of an aged plane crashing or medical supplies being blocked from the sick, or everything else done to try and suffocate Iranians in general. The clueless strategy on the part of the West is to have sanctions upset the Iranian population enough to where another quote-unquote regime change takes place from within the country. Yet all sanctions do is harden the resolve of the nation collectively.
The U.S. president says he doesn't like the nuclear deal with Iran at all. He says there are major flaws in the deal, but that view is not shared by any other signatory to the JCPOA. The White House has meanwhile threatened to block aircraft exports to Iran. Some critics say any such move would not only violate the nuclear deal, but also run contrary to Trump's America First campaign pledge. This is because the aircraft contracts with Iran are expected to create a considerable number of jobs in the U.S.
Trump obviously touted his newer platform for adding jobs, or promising to add jobs for Americans. But when you sanction massive conglomerates against doing multi-billion-dollar deals in new emerging market environments like Iran, which the totality of Europe is chomping at the bits to enter for deals across the board in every industry practically, you're not going to win friends within industry, either within the United States or in Europe or anywhere else that wants access to a vibrant Iranian economy with 80 million people.
Observers say the coming months will probably reveal whether the U.S. president is serious about his threats against the nuclear agreement and aircraft contracts with Iran.